Hello. Today I'm a little bit tired, you can probably tell. The storm yesterday had taken a bit more out of me than I'd expected. Um, yeah, hi. Um, it was worse, a little bit worse than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, there's a Gigi right here. He's super cute. Um, but I got weird cuddles, like the cuddles where he snuffs my face. He's a goofy boy. Sometimes I think he's trying to kill me, but he's not. He's just not understanding that I need to breathe because he's a cat. But yeah, he's cute. And I slept pretty good, but I still feel like I'm really tired. I did have to go to the store today because, I can't put off going to the store too many days without running out of food. So I had to go get some groceries, and my roommate had specifically asked for stroganoff, and my son was okay with it because he apparently likes it, even though he keeps saying he doesn't. Kids are funny that way. Um, but yeah. I don't. It's not like a complicated version. I've never actually been able to find a, a an authentic version of stroganoff, and I think it's probably because it's a Russian dish. I don't know. When I was learning to cook, there was still kind of a little bit Cold War stuff going on, so yeah, people were kind of suspicious of anything Russian, including food, unless it was caviar or something weird like that. I don't like caviar, but a lot of people do. Um, so that's a thing. And but yeah, I'm just gonna do this cheat stroganoff thing that I know. You take cream of mushroom soup and mix it with sour cream, and then you put the noodles in the bottom of a baking pan, and I mean not noodles, you put the meatballs in the bottom of the baking pan, and then you put cooked noodles over the meatballs, and then you put the sauce on top, and you bake it for 30 minutes or so, making sure your meatballs get done. And so that's not traditional stroganoff, but it is pretty good, and it does taste pretty close to what traditional stroganoff tastes like. So one of these days I might have to figure out if I can find a recipe for that, because I like cooking and I like to do things as authentic as possible, and I like to do it as natural and healthy as possible. I think the authentic stroganoff dish might actually have some stuff, be a little bit more healthy, even though it might take longer because I have to have certain vegetables fully cooked or my stomach doesn't process them correctly, and mushrooms is one of them. They have to be a certain softness or just they create problems. At least it's not like the bell peppers and the onions do. That's so much gas. Mushrooms just slug everything down and make me feel like I'm like 20 pounds heavier than I am. And that's less unpleasant, but it's still unpleasant. So yes, he's getting some nibbles. I wanted to do some stuff, talk about stuff, but I didn't really get as much done as I wanted to yesterday. So I was hoping I could do a few more Yodas and maybe fill that box, but oh, excuse me. Everything's blooming, so my allergies are just. Uh, I love lilacs, but I recently figured out I'm allergic to them. My neighbors have like tons of them in their yard, and they're so pretty and they smell so good. But I'm like, choo, achoo, achoo, achoo. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about stuff and maybe like finish off one of the box, the Yoda box. I think that's the one on top over here. This is in three. Though the for some reason my camera has flipped the image. That's still yeah. Um yeah. And I think that's the Baby Yoda box, and I'd wanted to get my first one done because I need to do somewhere in the lines of two or three about that size box, full, maybe a little bigger, full of Yodas, just to make sure that I can make it to November so that I'm not getting completely overwhelmed by the Christmas sales. And I need to do, um, I've got smaller boxes for the tiny turtles, and I need to do two or three of them for the same reason. I just didn't get very much done. I was tired. I couldn't remember things. I was distractible. my pain levels kept going up ridiculously high, so I didn't really get anything done yesterday. But I have, but like it said yesterday morning, I did actually get quite a bit done as far as, where I can feel like I'm getting stuff done and I don't feel as pressured, I don't feel as stressed, I don't feel like I have as much going on. And that's kind of where I'm trying to get to, is to where, yeah, I'm always going to need to be making something because I got to keep up the supplies for sales no matter what's selling. Um, but if I get caught up to a certain point with stuff that sells quickly, then I can work on some stuff that doesn't, so that I have the back stock, so that, like I said, when Christmas comes, the toys, everything just starts selling really quickly, especially my toys. And I've gotten a bat and spider plushie patterns, um, because I thought they would be good for boys, and I have a hard time with boy patterns. I don't know, my brain just can't think that way for some reason. And people keep telling me to make little cars, but I have no idea how to do that. But anyway, I got the bat and the spider pattern because I thought it would be good for boys, and I started immediately noticing that they were selling. Like, I made them pink because I was just trying to use up some yarn, and the pink one sold, and so I'm like, yeah, this is okay. This is good. Because there's a lot of people that aren't exactly the what you expect. Like, everybody expects a little girl to be a girly girl and a little boy to be like a little butch ruffian, and that's not always how they are. These days, sometimes they grow up and they decide they're not even that gender. So, um, that's a thing. I guess people were doing that before, it's just it wasn't considered to be socially acceptable. Um, but yeah, it's hard to know exactly who's shopping, so just keeping up with stuff and making sure I have enough back stock so that, like, when it starts to sell really quickly, then I have it and I don't have to be like rushing and trying to. I need 25 baby Yodas and I just sold out all my bats and that kind of stuff. So I make it beforehand. That way, I have it. That's something to do with these slow months, is to get a lot of the stuff done. But unfortunately, this year, this should have been a warmer month, but it wasn't. And I'm not really sure if that's, like I said, I think I've said before, if it's an anomaly or if the weather is actually changing. Um, so I just haven't been really feeling that great, between the allergies being, the flowers blooming a little bit later than maybe they should have, and um, just everything, the weather making me feel crummy. That's just, but yeah, I didn't get as much as I wanted to done yesterday. I did accomplish a few things. So, like, if you're somebody like me and you get tired real easy, or things start to hurt if you're moving around too much, especially when there's a storm or something, it's okay to not get everything done, because I always feel like I have all this stuff I need to do, and it seems like I'll get all these stuff done. I'll start checking off my list of stuff I need to get done, and there's still all this other stuff. I gotta find time to vacuum the basement. I gotta find time to I gotta find time to catch up with the hand washing. I gotta find the dishes, so it's not that hard. It's just my brain. I gotta reorganize the bags because the kids keep bringing these plastic shopping bags home, like the little flimsy cheap ones that you get from the store. And the cats, her cats, my daughter's cats have symptoms of pica, so I don't want her cat Jasper especially to be eating the grocery bags. So I have to pick those up and put them up, um, kind of like a reorganization thing. And it looks like the pantry needs to be organized. And most of that's not my stuff, so I have no idea what to do with it. But maybe one of these days when my daughter doesn't work, maybe I'll have her help me go through that, or just do it. Um, because she doesn't mind doing tasks. I mean, she gets tired from working like most people, but if I let her, like, relax and sleep one day and then have her help me with the chores or something on the other day, she's usually okay. And if they give her split days off, we usually don't worry about her helping with chores because I know she's tired. customer service type jobs are very physically and emotionally exhausting sometimes. So yeah, I was just checking my brain to make sure I hadn't gotten too sidetracked because I do that. I do think I'm getting better about that. I'm getting better about talking and I'm getting better about having a more presence. I'm cold, so I've got my bathrobe on. It's always cold down here in the basement. I have no idea why that is. Though I do know that there is a lot of air bleed around the windows. This one heater is not working properly, so that's probably part of it. Um, but yeah, that's like what I was talking about. If we did somehow manage to come up with enough money, we were thinking about talking to the landlord about buying a house and then or just having it fixed up to the way we want it. And one of the things that I definitely want to do is um, fix the air bleed. It's probably just the sealing issue. He probably either didn't seal it right or just didn't realize he needed to seal them. Something silly like that. Probably get some clear caulking and just. But if we have the money, we might just hire a professional, make sure it gets done correctly. And then the other thing that I'd like to do, at least in the basement, is to get a better heater. Um, I don't know if that type of heater is even meant for this size of a room. The one that is down here is definitely malfunctioning, and it's not exactly where it's supposed to be either. It's supposed to be under a window, but due to the way they put the pipe runs into the house, the water that brings the pipe that brings the water into the house is in this one corner, kind of, and then they run up over this window that he put in, and it's kind of making it difficult to put in an electric wall right there because even if you come down, um, the pipes are in the way. So if he came down at a different point and put in like an electric wall, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I bet actual construction people know what I'm talking about. Like just like a little bit of a more of a wall so that the electricity can come down into the basement so that we can have things like plugins and heaters. You'd have to come in from like back of the wall, part of the wall that you can see here, um, to create that kind of like wall where you can put in things like electric and stuff like that. It'd have to come in from way over here to put in electrical outlets and things. But I don't know how expensive that is. The house really isn't that bad. It's got two bathrooms and they're both on the first floor. So, oh, that's the other thing. Put in like a little half bath and in the basement. The landlord had intended to do that, but really quickly realized that he didn't have enough money. Um, yeah. And then, oh yeah, and then we'd have to do something with the air conditioner and fix the chimney. I'm not sure what's going on with the chimney, um, but it doesn't quite do what it's supposed to do. And I think part of the problem may be that some of the equipment is old and rusted and may need to be replaced, or just taken out altogether. My daughter's not used to using a chimney with the flue, or not the flue, the maybe it is the flue, the thing that shifts and it lets the smoke air in and smoke out, and it also seems to have the wrong uh, chimney cap. Um, but I'm not 100% certain about that because it was originally a gas fireplace and that needed a different chimney cap. So I don't know. But yeah, those are the things that we'd like to do to the house. And then if we can't get the house, we'll probably just stay here until we can get what we want figured out. But yeah, that's sort of only gonna happen if we get the money. And that's okay because to dream about stuff like that because you can't really if you don't have any goals or ideas of what you can do in the future that can make your life better or just the situation a little bit better, then you're not really gonna have much drive to try to make things better. So that's kind of a thing. It's like dreaming's okay, especially if you're like me and you get tired and achy real easy. Um, you got a lot of time to dream because you're just sitting, because sometimes you're just having to rest and sit there. So you got a lot of things to think about while you're, or I should say, a lot of time to think about things and plan things out and get an idea. I mean, sometimes I even run disaster scenarios through my head so I can have a better idea of what I would do if something happened. But um, a lot of that stuff probably isn't even gonna happen ever. So, but it's keeping my brain active, and it's like, well, what would I do in a situation like this? And I know what I would do if I had the access to the things. But or if, the other thing is surviving it because a lot of things are very unpredictable and don't exactly know where damage is going to be or sometimes even where you're safe. So that's the first thing to know about that is that you'd have to play out your scenario assuming you survived it. And then I mean if you don't survive it, it's you know, can't really do anything then, but but think it out like if you survived it. Because a lot of things that can actually happen would be hard, would really depend on how it happened and if you were somehow able to survive it. Because like we used to live right under Mount Baker, which is a volcano. It's a nice little ski resort on top. And if it blows the one way, it'll take out I can't remember the name of the town. But the people there know that they do have an evacuation plan. So if the mountain gets to where it's very active, they're going to evacuate. I think it's Winthrop. They'll evacuate that town so that there'd be less chances of massive deaths and stuff. So a lot of property is probably going to get destroyed, but people should be fine. People and animals should be fine because they should have the way that nature works. They should have enough time to move. But if it blows and collapses in the other way, all of Whatcom County is in trouble. So, um, and then of course you've got the issue of flying rocks, so you don't know where they're going to land. Um, but yeah, everybody there has um, a, an idea of what the plan is. Some people have food supplies, food and water supplies in case they get trapped into their houses, and some people, and there's even an evacuation plan. And I think there's even been one that's pre-approved to where people don't have to try to drive down towards Seattle if they're in like Linden or somewhere. I think they are allowed to go up into Canada to evacuate, not to take over, but I think that's part of the plan because I think there's a mountain in Canada that has a similar issue that's just across the border, and some of their people would have to come down here in order to evacuate um, because they can't get around the way it is with the mountains being so close to the coast. They can't really get around if the mountain blows. So, but yeah, that's always good to have some sort of a plan for things like that. And like I said, I have a lot of time to think about stuff. So that's something that's that preparedness. Because I don't move very well, especially right now. So that's part of the reason I'd have a plan um, for something. I don't really know what I'd do in case of a nuclear bomb because that would be so quick. But I think I am near an air base that is at least rumored, or I should say a military base that is at least rumored to have an underground facility that could be used as a bunker, like a shelter. I just have no idea if that's true or not because people say things all the time that aren't true, and there's a lot of theories and conspiracy theories. And also, even if it's true, I have no idea how I'd get out there. Um, Unless there's some military transports to come pick people up, I may not be able to get out there, or we may not be able to get out there. But that's something to think about, even though I don't know how high the chances are of that. But but I know part of this disaster reenactment in my brain is because I grew up during the Cold War, and we were always thinking about nuclear bombs. What were we gonna do if a nuclear bomb hit? And I do remember I do remember living in Port Townsend when I was 12 and people talking about just having a big party out at Fort Worden because we were so close to Seattle and two bases that had nuclear submarines that if a bomb dropped anywhere near us, there just wouldn't be anything safe anywhere. So people, instead of panicking, they were just planning on having a big party. And because what can you do? I mean, the roads are gonna, a lot of people will panic and it'll be very difficult to get out of the areas that could be affected and stuff like that. So, and I know that back then a lot of people had bomb shelters, but like I mentioned before, they didn't take into account how severe nuclear activity really was, and a lot of them believed that the military was somehow going to be able to come and rescue them. I'm not really sure that they can even today. So that's kind of where that is. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know. Because I'm not wanting to like scare people or jump the gun or anything, because you just don't know what's gonna happen. I just have no idea. At this point, I think Yellowstone is probably a bigger threat than a nuclear bomb, but we don't even know when that's going to happen. So, because it's geologically soon, could be today, it could be 1,000 years from now. That's kind of the funny thing with that. But I'm just hoping that as things get along. Oh yeah, and that's part of the reason I'm thinking about the gardens, because I'm thinking about some of the stuff that's been going on, and um some of the things, and like I don't really know what's going on with the food chain, but if people do the Victory Garden thing, it'll definitely help, because like it said, that little, however much food you can grow in your little garden will take a few days of urgency off the food chain for a couple of people. And that's right now, from the sounds of it, that could be big, especially in areas that are reporting food shortages, though I don't really know that there are that many areas that are. I'm not hearing too much about it. The only one who's really talking about it is my brother, who I believe is in Kentucky. And I'm not really sure what's going on there, because weird things happen in the South. So I'm not sure if it's just that they're in one of the very few areas that actually are experiencing shortages for some reason, or um, if there's something else going on that they're not telling us. Who knows? But I do know that the baby formula shortage is a real thing, and that I'm hoping that will resolve soon. So it does seem like the plants are starting to get back up and running, and everything should be okay. Hopefully the rest of the plants that were affected get up and running soon too. So yeah, I'm getting a little zonky, so I'm gonna let you go. Maybe I'll take a nap with this cute boy. He's right here. Yes, he's right here. Look at that face. Look at that little panther face. He's so cute. So I'm gonna let you guys go, and either take a nap or try to get more stuff done, because I do feel a little bit accomplished this morning with the chores I got done and getting able to get to the grocery store before everything was gone. So I'm gonna pop off, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.